I have the distinct pleasure to have this girl right here, this woman who is a fellow pharmacist, a doctor of pharmacy. So it's my honor to have you on here tonight, Sandra. So can you tell my audience a little bit about your background, what you do now, any of the things you want to share?
Yes, absolutely. So I have been a pharmacist for a long time, almost 30 years now, and went into pharmacy years ago with the intention of being able to help people. And as I have practiced pharmacy over these years, I realized that our society has gone from trying to help with wellness to just dealing with illness.
Mm.
And with that, I went ahead and got a holistic health coaching degree and started really skilling up on supplementation because I felt like that I didn't know enough and it was so important. We didn't get taught that in pharmacy school because there was too many medications to learn about and too many side effects. So I really spent about the last 15 years learning about the supplement industry and how we could better heal our bodies given the right food and supplements. And I'm still practicing today. I was an inpatient pharmacist for most of my career and just recently switched back to outpatient pharmacy, so in the community. But I still believe that there are ways that we can heal our bodies without medications.
Absolutely. And if anyone here can agree with that, give us a medication below, because you said a huge thing that I actually wrote down: illness versus sickness. So do you want to go into that a little bit? Like, what does that mean? Yeah.
Well, I mean, basically, I think they look at everything. We try to treat symptoms. So the doctors and the insurance companies are dictating this. The doctors never have time to spend with patients to get enough information to get background to be able to deal with root causes.
Mm.
So they prescribe a medication because that's what they were taught. That's what the insurance companies require for them to get payment. And so they write a prescription and the patients go get it filled and don't know that there are other options.
Yeah. And I've been actually out of the pharmacy for a little over 6 years, and you're still in it. So I remember what I used to see. I used to see overprescribing of opioid prescriptions, which, if you haven't seen the documentary on Netflix called The Pharmacist, I highly, highly, highly recommend that. It's eye-opening to those of you who maybe don't have this view of things in the medical field, but it was reinforcing to me. But what are you seeing in the outpatient world? What kind of medications are you seeing that are written over and over and over again?
Well, the opioids it's become a big deal. So things are really being cracked down with that. So you're seeing a lot less of those prescribed, but I still see a lot of antidepressants, anti-anxiety, ADHD medications, not only just for adults, but for like small kids.
Hmm.
And I think that that's just become our society's way of dealing with things is, oh, your child's acting up. They need something for ADHD. They need something for anxiety. And I'm not anti-medications because I believe there's a time and a place, but I think that we need to explore more root cause.
Hmm. So what have you found is the root cause? Do you have a thought on what you think can help these people? Like you said, there is a time and a place for medications, but what can we do? You talked about helping people be healthy versus let's treat the symptoms after. So,
Right. So I really feel just all the research with the gut microbiome is huge. It's come out in the last, really in the last 3 to 5 years, and they're still continuing studies on it. I remember my mom had rheumatoid arthritis from leaky gut syndrome. We went to the rheumatologist. I asked him about it. He had no clue what I was talking about. And this was about 10 years ago. And I look back at her path and I know that is what started everything. She was on anti-inflammatory drugs. She was on prescription ibuprofen and steroids,
Mm,
and it led to a horrible allergic reaction. And then she ended up with rheumatoid arthritis. So I know, from what I know now, it all stemmed from leaky gut.
yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's so, um, it's crazy, but I'll let you keep going. But it's just, it's reassuring to me that I'm not the only one that feels this way. So,
absolutely. And my grandmother years ago knew, I mean, she was a definite proponent about gut health, believe you have to have a bowel movement every day. And when I was in pharmacy school, I'm like, oh, no, you don't. Yeah, once or twice a week is fine. But she was adamant. And now I go back, and she lived to be 100 on no medications. And yeah. And I look at all her wisdom and I'm like, wow, she really did know a lot about what she was talking about. So um, I just believe that we do so many things that stress our gut out and
mhm.
that mess up the balance with our gut microbiome. And that just leads to just a spiral effect. And if we could go back and address healing the gut as
Mhm.
a first line, I think it would fix a lot of problems. It's not going to fix everything, but I think it would start to heal and give people just a more natural way of dealing with their problems.
So, what are some things that, like, if somebody comes to you and they're definitely, you're like thinking gut issues, like right off the top, like what are a few things that you recommend to them, to start the process of healing?
So there's a fundamentals pack that I love to talk about. It helps to restore the gut microbiome. And we know that there is a communication between the gut and the brain. We've known that for years. I mean, you talk about gut feelings, butterflies in your stomach. So there's products that will help sync that conversation
Mm,
and also help with just the mental focus. We've used antidepressants for years to pump more serotonin into the body. And now we know that 90 to 95% of the serotonin is actually made in our gut.
mhm.
And if that's not eye opening, then I don't know what is, because that's amazing. We pump these drugs in people to increase this level in the brain. Whereas if we could deal with it in the gut, you're taking care of the root cause.
Yes, absolutely. And so, have you found, so you have found with some people that you've started helping them with this fundamentals kit, have they been able to start to like work themselves lower in their dosing as far as like some of their antipsychotic, antidepressants? Have you noticed that correlation?
I have had some people work their children off of ADHD meds.
Okay.
Um, Most of the people that I've worked with, most of the adults have been like IBS, Crohn disease, and they've been able to at least decrease their symptoms. Um,
Okay.
and they're working to decrease their medications, but at least they've been decreasing their symptoms.
Okay. That's awesome. And how about too, so as we know, like right now there's so many things in the news about this virus or that virus. We won't, the virus that shall not be named. But that's immunity, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
so instead of some of the things that they talk about, I'm going to say this because I'm no longer in the world of pharmacy, but it's like give them this vaccine or that vaccine, and there's no thought of actually improving someone's immunity. Have you found in your own self or clients or people that you work with, like we heal the gut, we can improve overall immunity?
I believe we can. Yes, absolutely. And I know that because the gut is where 90% of our immunity lies.
Hmm.
And when that's messed up, everything, like I said, it's a spiral effect. And vaccines may have a place, but they don't always cure everything. Um, we are all required to get a flu shot at the hospital, but then people still end up with the flu. So,
That's
yeah.
okay. Do you have like just just something you've noticed, or do you have statistics or numbers to That they keep track of that at the hospital?
They probably do. I know that if you get, we're required to get the flu shot. So if you get the flu and you've had the flu shot, they can't take your vacation time away. They have to pay you for it. But I would say there's probably in our department, probably 25 to 30% of the people have come down with the flu so far this year.
Yeah, and, I don't know if anyone out there is surprised. If you're surprised with that, give us a mind blown. I personally am not. Um, I'll share it. Like when I was in the pharmacy, we weren't required at that time to get the flu shot, but um, I worked at a chain pharmacy, and it was a well-known. We treat our employees really well, but I had a lot of people like I had my boss pressuring me to get a flu shot. Like, do you know that you're killing people because you're not getting the flu shot? And I started, I was very nervous sometimes to go into work. Like, are they just going to come up behind me and just like give me the flu shot? But I have never had the flu. I got the flu shot one time, along with, I think it was an MMR shot. And I just felt like I could honestly say, I was like, I'm never getting the flu shot again. I felt horrible.
Mhm.
And this is a very controversial topic, but I think if people really started looking at what are you doing, like we were talking about prevention versus reaction,
Mhm.
and the flu shot is not very effective for people. So just keep that in mind. Like you can heal your gut, and you can really lower your chances of something like the flu, if I'm understanding that
Yeah.
100%. Okay.
Boosting, yeah, because like you said, it boosts your immunity.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
when you wear that down just over things we eat, medications you take, over the counter medications that you take, there's so many things that can disrupt that unique balance of your gut.
Mhm. Mhm. And it's not about being perfect with your food and whatever, but I know when I was a pharmacist, I used to have this mindset about supplements. Like I had a period of time, and I don't know if you were there, Sandra, but I really didn't think they were needed. Like I felt like, oh, if you're eating the right food, you'll be fine.
Right.
Um, what are your thoughts on that? Because you probably hear that. I know I hear that from people. Like, what do you say to someone that may come up to you and say that?
And I used to believe the same way because, like I said, we weren't taught about the supplements in pharmacy school. It wasn't an important part. But what I know is that our agriculture is not the same. So we don't get the same, even if we ate perfectly, we're not getting the same nutrients from our food that our grandparents got. And most of us aren't eating perfectly. So we do need that basic supplementation anyway, just to make sure that we are getting our bases covered and being able to live healthy.
Mhm. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Like I said, I at one point felt differently, but I am 100% on board. So we both are in the network marketing aspect of business, and there's a lot of people with different feelings on this. So I wanted to get your take on, why you joined. Are you still happy you did it? Like, what is it about network marketing that really, drove you, like attracted you?
Well, my first experience with network marketing was with a supplement company. And I thought I felt pretty good before I started supplements, but realized that, oh, I was missing something, that I actually felt better. So that's when I spent 15 years kind of researching the supplement industry. And it was sad to say people would come and say, oh, what vitamins can I buy? And I'm like, nothing off of this shelf. Because I mean, most of the things on the shelf are synthetic and you don't know what's in them. So working with a network marketing company uh, that really trusts their sources on where they're looking for where they're getting their supplements from was important. And I just, like I said, I really researched that. I was proud of working with the company that I was with, but felt stuck. So, basically got introduced to a new company that is focusing on mental wellness using the gut microbiome, and that just fit. It was a perfect fit for what I knew was probably the root cause of a lot of things. It's a new and upcoming company. So again, timing is everything. If you've been with a company that's been around for a long time, it's hard to make a big difference.
Mhm.
And I felt like I did. I mean, I wanted to help other people feel better, to get well. And now I've got a different path to be able to do that.
So do you feel like you have the opportunity potentially to help more people, make a bigger impact?
I do. Yeah, and like I said, again, supplements are great. I think they're needed,
Mhm.
um, but I feel like the products that I'm able to back now get to the root cause of healing the body.
Yeah, that's so key. And I feel the same way, because it's like what I mean, we're in the same company, and what I was looking for was I knew gut health was the core of illness, and if we could find a way, if I could find a solution for my clients, for people that I know, I knew I'd hit the home run. And so it felt so good to find that avenue to do it. And like you said, really there's not a lot of options in the typical store that actually your body, they're synthetic, they're plastic, so your body has no idea how to digest. So that
Right.
typically, I'm sure a lot of people have heard expensive pee, right? Because like if you can't digest it, it just leaves your body as it was. So what what would you tell someone that's like, okay, I want to heal my gut, um I just like I don't know where to start. Like what do I start with? What's a first step that you tell people other than maybe supplementation? Maybe they're not quite ready for that. Like are there other things that people can do to start the healing process?
I think number one, I mean, it's good nutrition.
Mm,
So you have to look at what you're putting in your body. You have to look at, are you moving your body? Exercise is important. And then just your whole mental stuff. I mean, what are you thinking about? What is your mental focus? Do you meditate? Do you do yoga? You don't have to do either one, but it's just where your thoughts are. Um,
that's huge.
yeah,
That's a huge one because you have to believe it to do it. But you also got to heal your gut to get your brain right. So it's like what comes
absolutely.
first,
Yeah, yeah.
the chicken or the eggs. So what is, to kind of close this up, like what is one thing that if you could tell someone that's listening to this, like, okay, you're telling us like the medical system has a lot of breakdowns, I should heal my gut. So what is one thing that you would tell someone that says, okay, so, insurance is covering X, Y, and Z for me. Like, how do I afford to do some of these things? Um, like that's a common question. Like it's hard for someone that has insurance to say,
Yeah.
well, try these things because this is what actually works. So what is some advice for those people that might be thinking that?
Well, again, you're using the medications to kind of cover up a symptom, whether your insurance company pays for it or not. Um, do you want to feel healthier? And what price do you have to put on your health? If you can start to work in healing your gut and possibly get off of some of these medications and feel better, what is that worth to you?
Mm, that's a gut check.
Yeah,
That's just so like, what about your quality of life? What about all the time you spend it sitting in your doctor's office, standing in your pharmacy line? Like, what's your time worth to you too, right?
yeah.
And your health is everything. So what's like one last thing that if you could share, this is an open-ended, but if you could share one tip or anything about how people can just live a better life. Like I love that you talked about mindset. That's huge. I hope people really heard that. But what else would you tell somebody that's just from a pharmacist, like something like you've seen behind, you see the other side of medicine. That's why I say all the time, like, what would you tell somebody?
So I think you need to take a look at, you know, where you are, what your doctors, if you've got a chronic health condition, what your doctors are saying. I've always said your doctor needs to be a partner, not a dictator.
Mm,
um, that I mean, because people think that whatever the doctor says is right, and they're saying what they know, but they don't know everything. Just, I mean, we don't know everything, but we're learning and we're keeping up. And sometimes you just have to be able to have that real conversation with your doctor and ask, what if I tried this? Is it going to hurt me?
mm.
um, because I truly believe that the gut, if you go back to Hippocrates, he said all healing starts in the gut. And I truly believe that.
I do too. And just think how long ago that was.
Oh, yeah.
And we're just starting to be like, oh yeah, oh yeah. And when I hear like somebody tell me their doctor, whatever, says, oh, leaky gut's not a real thing, I'm like, I'm just like, I'm speechless right now because totally is. So, well, I wanted to thank you so much for taking some time out of your Sunday night to be with me and tell me a little bit about your story and your view. It's, for me, it's just very refreshing to hear someone else that feels the same. So thank you. And thank you everyone for being here. If you got some value out of this, which I'm sure that you did, two doctors of pharmacy right here with you, give me a value below. And, maybe Dr. Sandra, I'll have you on again.
All right. That sounds great, Rachel. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of my YouTube channel. If you loved this episode, just click right here to subscribe, share it with a friend. Also, if you want to check out any of the other episodes of my season 2.0 of A Better Way to Heal, just click right here and you can do just that. So until next time, be happy, be healthy, and thank you for tuning in.